What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. I'm a user experience designer, and today I'm going to be showing you how I've designed the home screen on my smartphone to be as distraction free as possible so that I can get stuff done on my phone rather than doom scroll and get endlessly distracted. So let's jump into it. The launcher I'm using is called Before Launcher, and this is a minimal launcher designed to help reduce distractions. The main setup is a list of apps on your home screen, and these you can choose by long pressing on them and then changing choose home screen apps. I've deliberately chosen apps that I want to spend more time on, and apps that I want to spend less time on I have hidden away in my app drawer. The other thing I've done on the home screen is I've changed the name of the apps. So for example, chess.com is not called chess.com. I have renamed it to be Play Chess, and you can do this with the change label option. And the other thing I've done here is, because Before Launcher automatically hides the app icon, I've added in a little emoji along with each name, and this just adds like a little bit more visual interest to the home screen whilst maintaining that kind of minimal vibe that I'm going for. So the other thing here is I've changed the clock at the top, which is this app, and I've renamed it to I Want To. And the reason that I've done that is it kind of frames my whole home screen and almost asks me this question. There we go. Asks me this question when I open my phone of what am I actually trying to do or trying to achieve. And it kind of gives me that little reminder. So that's the main home screen. If you scroll to the right, you get a list of all of your installed apps. You can also pin apps. So I've got my calendar pinned to the top, and I've then got folders with my social apps, some various journaling apps that I use, and Listen, which just goes to Audible, Classic FM, and Spotify. So this allows you to hide your apps even further, so it's a few more clicks, a little bit more friction to actually get into your applications, but it also just lets you categorize them so that they're kind of easy to find as well. The rest of your apps are then shown in this scrollable list rather than a grid, and I find this makes it a little bit easier to not get sucked in and accidentally find that you're in Instagram or YouTube or whatever your sort of scrolling app of choice is, because you don't have the icons. So I think there's less of a kind of visual trigger that you see the red of YouTube and you jump into it, for example, and you can still find everything you need. It's alphabetized. You can search with the button here, but it means it's a little bit harder to get sucked into that kind of that doom scroll that you can do on your phone where you're just jumping into apps because you're trying to distract yourself. The other really cool feature that Before Launcher has is filtered notifications. So what you can do is, if you go to the top here, you can decide which notifications are filtered. And what that means is all the notifications for those filtered apps won't show up in your normal notification tray, but they will show up in this kind of secondary tray on your home screen. These are made way less distracting because you don't get the notifications, and it means you can still see them. Like sometimes you do need to see them and interact with them, but it kind of keeps them a little bit secondary from your main notification tray. And I found this makes it even easier to not get distracted by my phone. And it's also super easy to clear all of them with a single tap. So we're just going to jump into the styles and themes here, and I can show you how else I've set up my home screen. So if we're going to backgrounds and themes, you can see I've got this black and white one set up. This is just a black background, super minimal, super undistracting. The other things I've done is I've got it set to hide the status bar. This means that when I open my phone, I don't see the time, I don't see notifications. It's just less stuff to get distracted by. And actually, one thing I've noticed as I've been using my phone like this is I now use, if I can get that in frame, my watch a lot more just to check the time. And it means I'm not pulling my phone out to check the time and then getting distracted on something else, which definitely used to happen. So that's pretty much it in terms of what I'm running on my home screen. It's very minimal. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing on your phones to try and take back some time and make them less distracting and more intentional. The other thing I will mention is that I pretty much always run my phone in black and white. And on Samsung, you can set this up to trigger when you hold the volume up and volume down buttons. Now, for the purposes of this video, I put this into color because it makes it a little bit more interesting, but you can see that when you run this home screen in black and white, it becomes even more minimal and even less distracting. And this is the same for other applications. For example, if you go into something like YouTube, a feed like this just becomes far less compelling and far harder to kind of fall into if you have black and white enabled, which is pretty cool. So there you are, guys. That is what I am running on my home screen at the moment. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you got any other tips for using your phone in a more intentional and mindful way? It's great to be back on this platform, and I'll be giving you some more updates in upcoming videos. Now, suffice it to say that I am still alive. I'm still very interested in technology. I'm now a UX designer, so the whole thing's kind of come full circle. And I'm very interested in how we can use technology to be more mindful and more intentional to reconnect with the stuff that technology actually allows us to do, rather than just getting distracted on social media. So that's probably going to be a lot of the content of the videos in the future. If that interests you, stick around. I'd love to have you for the journey, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.